Praise the Lord, He is good. And hold on, let me go back a little bit. I'm not supposed to show much of the kitchen, but okay. Okay, that's better. Okay, let me go in front of this. It's me, Ari Dosset. But just call me Rashid. I'm fine with you calling me Rashid. So we with another life, and I relocated to my kitchen because my voice is quite intense and quite loud. Even when I whisper, my voice tends to penetrate through walls sometimes. So I left my living room, which floor is a bit, I won't say soft, but sound doesn't isolate well in my living room. And because it's a little bit later now in the Netherlands, I decided to go to my kitchen because the ground here is much harder. So it's better for my voice not to penetrate to the neighbors. But okay, let me see. Who is always here? I see Tammy's here again, Diane is here, Joanna's here. I'm glad you're here, Joanna. By the way, you may not see me that well all the time, but okay, this is the best we can do now. In my previous live stream that I made earlier today, I've explained how psychic weapons operate. I've explained that the number one purpose of devil worshippers is to keep us out of a psychic balance. Without psychic balance, you have no physical safety as a human being, and without physical safety, you have nothing. Simple as that. So I explained all of this before in the previous live stream. Just a quick recap over here. Forming psychic missiles, how it affects you, if you're covered, not covered, and how pastoral cover works for females, which I've explained right down here. And for the ladies in Christ, for my sisters, I'm going to explain a sex tool that all women have, but men don't even realize they're using it. And because of that, it can be used against them. All right? Yeah, semen retention can attract girls. Whoever asked that, okay? It can attract girls. But I made a live stream about that already. But anyway, I'm glad you're here, brother. I'm glad you're here. Okay. And right about semen retention, I'm going to talk about semen retention soon. So just wait. But first, the ladies. Sisters in Christ, listen to me. You are a sticky creature. What does it mean? Your energy field as a woman, which is shaped like a grape, it's quite sticky. So the radiations you bring forth as a woman are sticky ones. Imagine you have, I don't know if I have it around here. Yeah, for example, hold on. This is a roll of tape, all right? Let me open it up. Just be patient. Let me explain to you why I'm showing this, because it's quite important. Man, how did this, oh, finally, I found it. This is quite sticky when you look at it. You see? It sticks. I can take it off. Put it again. It sticks again. I go on many times. Keep sticking. But the stickiness can lose its effectiveness after all, but still sticky. Well, understand the following. Your psychic radiation as a woman is like sticky tape onto the environment. That's how God designed it. All right? Now, when it comes to human sexuality, you're extremely sticky as a woman, which is natural, not to be ashamed of. And this is how it goes. As human beings, we have sexual centers. Our sexual centers between our hips. Between the edge of our hips and our sexual center is. With women, the sexual center is a bit higher because women have big wider hips. With men, it's a bit lower. Okay? Your sexual center sends off as a woman, because the sexual center of a woman operates differently than the sexual center of a man. Absolutely. So even the energy fields are built differently. As a woman, your sex center is giving off pinching shocks. You're sticky in your radiation, and you also have pinching shocks. So just like a needle sticks you. For example, hold on. I want to use this as an example very quickly. No. Hold on. This is a good example. example, the sexual shocks that a woman can send are like this. It's kind of pinching to you. This is how the Heavenly Father designed it also. And this is how it goes. When a woman has sexual longing, her sex radar gives off those reddish shocks. They even look red. She gives off the reddish shocks through her psychic radiation. And let's say, for example, you have Jane. Jane is at college, walking through the campus, and she has sexual longing, either for just sexual attention or she actually wants a man to physically give her sex because she wants sexual warmth. It's natural. She walks through campus. Her sex radar, through her energy field, gives off those pinching shocks. Let's say at the campus there are a bunch of men over there. Okay? Because she has no specific guy on her mind, all the men around get this pinch sensation in their body, like someone is pinching them. And then begin to look around what goes on. And then they notice this is pretty woman walking by, wearing a nice dress or dressed up in a cute way. This pinching happens naturally. Of course, the men nearby will notice it the best. A guy 2 kilometers away may pick it up, but it's kind of useless because when he looks around, who's he going to look at? You're 2 kilometers away. The guy close to you, within 100 meters, they get it the most intense. So all the men within 100 meters, they'll maybe 200 meters in some areas, depending on the location, they get these pinch sensations through them. And these men pick it up. But hey, a woman can also send out sexual shocks specifically targeted at one man. Let's say you are at a party, or let's say you are at a festival or at church or any public place, and this woman sees a guy over there, and she's so fond of the guy, she wants attention from that specific guy. She may look at the guy, but she doesn't even have to look at it. She only has to focus sexually on the guy with her mind intensely. What happens? Because it's a specific focus now, the sexual shocks are going to be they're going to be more shocking, and they're going right to the guy. If the guy is close, the guy's going to be overwhelmed by alarm systems. The guy's going to feel like, agitated, like what goes on? He feels like he's being agitated out of the blue because he's getting shocks all the time. But because there's a woman that's pinching him to want attention from him. Now the other guys get the echo of what goes on over here. So other guys can also feel softly like, what goes on here? But to them it's softly because it's mainly targeted at this guy. He gets a big alert. And this guy will be walking, thinking, what goes on? You may even think he's losing his mind. Well, he's not losing his mind, he's just being pinched sexually by a woman. What if you have 2 women doing this to the same guy? This guy is going to be overwhelmed. If more than 2 women do it, the guy needs help. Because at some point, it's going to overwhelm the guy's energy field because so many women are kind of pinching on him. And some men even lose their mind when this happens to them. They really get exhausted, lose their mind. So ladies, be generous and have some empathy when you send out sexual shocks, please. Thank you. All right? I've been overwhelmed one time. And really, I don't want to go to that anymore. So as a man, if you notice you're being overwhelmed by sexual things, you can shake them off by moving your body a little bit. You can just shake your body a little bit, be in movement, be in a joyful mood and shake it off. And then it kind of wears off, falls off of you. All right? For guys, that's what you do. Before I continue, is this mechanism clear onto you? I'm going to dive into it a little bit deeper. Is it clear onto you now? Let me know, please. Is this clear onto you? Let me know in the live chat. Let me know, please. Okay, Joanna understands. What about the rest? Please speak up and let me know if you understand this. Okay, tell me understands one more answer. Do you understand this? I want one more answer from you. Okay. Diana, what you're feeling is simply your sexual center operating as it should again, because it hasn't been functioning well for a while. Okay, so when a woman has a sexual longing, and most of the time the sexual longing goes up after her period ends. So once she stops bleeding, when the period ends, a new cycle begins. That's when the sexual longing is the highest in a female, and it builds up and it reaches a eruptive point at some point. But after when the cycle begins with the woman again, that's when the sexual longing is at the highest. But she can have sexual longings throughout time, but during her periods, her sexual longing is quite low, which is healthy, which is natural. Just understand this. Women can target specific men and pinch them to get sexual attention from them. It's an ability they have. And a lot are using it without being aware of it. And here's the thing. If one guy is pinched like this by another woman, it tends to attract other women to do the same too. And before you know it, you have 40, 50 women doing the same thing with a guy. The guy can be overwhelmed and even collapse if he doesn't know how to deal with it. If the guy knows how to deal with it, it can still go wrong because the guy may think he's a god, like he's an Adonis. He can do whatever he wants with the ladies. You see some of these men walking around like that. Just don't become a cock like that, guys, please. So, okay, so this is this mechanism. Men have a mechanism too sexually, and that works differently. Think about a compass. Now, what's a compass about? A compass has magnets in it. You pull it up and it points towards the magnetic north, towards the North Pole. And because you can see, there's north, okay, there's east, there's west, there's south, based on where the needle's pointing to. That's how a compass works. Now, men have a sexual compass. Let me repeat that. We as men, we have a sexual compass. Yes, our sex radar between our hips operates as a sex radar. I'm not talking about our physical body parts. Talk about the energy center, which is sex center, or sexual center between our hips. It works as a sex compass. It goes like this. Oh, you know what? Let me tell you one experience of mine when I use my sexual compass. Let's be fair, because I used this one time. It was when was it again? Yes, it was early 2020. Was it early 2020? Yeah, it was early 2020. I went to a campus of Leiden University, the one located here in The Hague. And I was just walking around and I was thinking, you know what? It's time for me to have a next sexual relationship because the previous one, that lady was dishonorable, began to train me, and I kicked her out. Not going into details of what had happened. So I thought, you know what? Time for next. I move on. So I entered the building of my university. Of course, there were some cute women walking around normally at universities. And I began to use my psychic focus to energize myself sexually intensely. And what happens is that your body becomes heightened with warmth, and also your energy field becomes more dense. And your energy field begins to point in a direction. So suddenly I would feel like walk to those tables over there. So I just walk to the tables. Then I feel like go back there. I just did this, and I encountered this lady sitting there. I believe she was wearing a red skirt or something like that. I don't know what and some black shoes or anything. But anyway, I ended up talking to her for a while. But during the conversation, I got warning signals that it wasn't a good idea. So I went on to the next thing. So the sexual compass is actually you use your psychic focus, you give up this intense sexual radiation as a mental environment, and based on what your sexual focus is, your sex radar will push your body to what you actually want. For those who watch the Pirates of the Caribbean, in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, played by Johnny Depp as Captain Jack Sparrow, Captain Jack Sparrow had this compass, and the compass points to whatever you want. The compass points not towards the North Pole, but towards your heart's desire. Why those people who made the Pirates of the Caribbean movies put this scene in it? because men have this compass that points to what they want, which is their sexual compass. Every man has it. A lot of men even using it, they're not even aware of it. All right. So hold on. I'm going to answer your questions very soon. Hold on. So when I was talking to this lady, and I realized I got warning signals, this may not be a good idea. Not because just was anything wrong with her, but I felt like there's something behind this behind her that may not go well. So I began to do the following. I began to put while I was talking to her on the inside, I put my psychic focus into reverse. I now imagined um, like a magnet. I imagine my sexual intensity being pulled back to me. And this is what happens. I'm sending out this sexual radiation. At the same time, I pull it back to me with my psychic focus. So what happens is a sexual vortex is created. Yes, I created a sexual vortex. And what happens is works like this. My sexual intensity comes from my sex radar, goes through my energy field, and it's radiated to the environment, and at the same time it's coming back to me. But it's spinning around like a vortex. With me at the center. And this is what happens. Based on the type of woman I've been meditating upon, one or a few women are kind of catched by the sexual radiation that I'm sending out. And once she's catched by it, it kind of attached to her energy field, it begins to pull her towards me, my physical body. So when I was doing this, later, another lady came and sat down. I believe she was dressed in black. And, well, the other lady left. So I felt like talking to that one. And next thing, we were together for a short while. Okay? I later found out that, you know what, the option was not at that moment. I was realizing, you know what, I may have gone too fast with this. But you know what? Anyway, there was no intense breakup or whatever. But this just show you how I actually pulled a sexual partner to me in early 2020. I won't give names, who it is, or whatever. No, doesn't matter. But this is how it happens. So this sexual vortex is like a lasso. You know those cowboys that lassos? You have this rope they bind together, and they have a little circle put around they put the rope in a small circle at the top, and then they swing the rope, and then the circle shapes at the end of the rope catches an animal, and now they pull the animal to them, or they may catch, or the Texas police used to do this in the 19th century, catch criminals, using a lasso to capture a guy and then arrest him. Well, a sexual vortex is like a lasso, a psychic lasso you're using in your environment. So this worked. And hold on. So men have a sexual compass, and we can turn the compass into a sexual vortex in which we actually target all the women in the environment. And based on the type of woman we're thinking about, that woman is pulled towards us. Okay? So that's why you need to be specific about the type of woman you're thinking about. If you don't, because if you're thinking about women who are tall, and you're sexual about that, and you invert your sexual emission, all women that are shorter than you, the vortex will pass them by. But any woman that's tall, according to your imagination, is captured by it, and she becomes close to you. For example, maybe let's say you have a woman called Lisa. Lisa is sitting at the bus station waiting for the bus. And let's say there's a guy in the mall, and the guy generates a sexual vortex. And let's say that Lisa matches the type of woman he's imagining he's longing for. Lisa suddenly feels like, you know what? Let me go to the mall. Out of the blue, Lisa feels like she needs to go to the mall. She feels almost pushed, like someone's pulling her to the mall. She leaves the bus stop and enters the mall. She doesn't know why she's entering the mall. She just wants to enter the mall. When she's in the mall, she knows, oh, there's nice products over here. And she walks around. And suddenly, she sees a guy. She smiles at the guy. And the guy notices it. And the guy begins to talk to her. That guy is the guy who generated the sexual vortex that she was captured by. Such things happen often. So, ladies, this can happen to you too. And if you're a woman operating according to God's design, you don't have to be afraid of crazy Superman doing this because in many cases, the lasso will just burn away when it comes near you anyway. All right? But before I continue further, is a sexual compass and sexual vortex in men? Is this clear onto you? Let me know, please. Thank you. All right. Well, let me see. Okay, Joanna asked a question. Let me highlight her question first. What about men who are involved with three or more women sexually? Does this have any overwhelming effect on the men? Um, okay. If you mean that this sexual compass can be overwhelmed, no. If the man is having sexual relationships with multiple women at the same time, we can easily use sexual compass for another woman. Up till around 50 women, it goes well. Beyond 50 women, I'm sorry, but you're out of your mind. You get yourself in trouble. Now, most men don't even go near 50, so that's a good thing. But here's the thing, if the few women you're sexually involved with as a man, if they're training you, they're absolutely sure in danger. So understand, there are risks connected to this, absolutely. All right? So here's another thing. A woman can only send a specific sexual pinch towards one guy. She can't think of two types of, you can think about two guys at the same time. She can't do that. A woman can only put her sexual focus on one specific guy and target him. And if he's close physically, it will affect him. Or a woman can send a general sexual longing, a general sexual shock. But she cannot generate a vortex. No woman can do that. Because a woman is not magnetic, men are. So men are magnetic, so we have a sexual compass that can turn into a sexual vortex. Women don't have this option. They can only send pinches or target a guy specifically. That's the only thing a woman can do. So the sexual advantage with the men. But women also have the advantage they can use in their advantage. All right? So, again, men, to all the brothers in Christ over here, till 50 women, you won't face any exhaustion. Beyond 50 women, what the heck are you doing? But most you won't go than 50 women. Anyway, so men can turn the vortex and pull many types of females towards them. Females can only shock the men to look at them. That's how it goes. That's how God designed it. And before I continue, for a woman, when a woman sends sexual longing, it doesn't matter whether she's healthy or unhealthy. A sexual longing is sexual longing. Now, as a man, you can pick up whether a woman is healthy or not if you pay close attention to your body. If you get a sexual thing from a woman and the woman is healthy, it's going to excite you even more. If the woman is unhealthy, it's going to you're going to feel creeped out by it. So you can examine the type of ping you get from a woman. On the other hand, if you're a woman and you're stuck by a lasso, you're not aware when you're being pulled in a direction. But once you're there, you will notice one of those men is quite glowing over there, or one of those men is quite into your face, even though you're not even looking at him. That is the man that's been pulling you. He's not aware that he's been pulling you. He's just using his vortex, but you're the one that was captured by the vortex because somewhere you match whatever he wants. Whether the way you look or the way you talk or maybe your nationality, somewhere you match what he's longing for. That's why you were pulled towards him. Mm-hmm. Okay, 50 women at the same time, theoretically speaking, that's the maximum a man can use a man can do it and stay healthy. Some men go 25, 26, 27 females, which are quite many. I'm not recommending you going near 50 as a man because it's exhausting. I'm saying beyond 50, a man is in danger. Simple that. So Solomon, who had 700 wives, then 1,000, I'm sorry, but he was out of his mind. And he's the inspiration for the Black Pill movement, just so you know. Okay, let me look at. All right. Before I continue, is all of this male and female? Is this clear onto you? And if there's something unclear based on what I have explained, please let me know now. Before we go on to the questions, is everything clear here? If there's anything not clear yet, ask your questions. Let me know, please. What about the Black Power movement? I was talking about the Black Pill movement. The Black Pill is a almost suicidal movement of men who just give up on life. It's similar to the Red Pill movement, but it's a bit more depressing. All right. Any other questions based on what I've explained? If you have no question based on what I've explained, then you're now free to ask any specific questions about how this can work in practice. If there's any question you have based on what the woman can do or whatever, please ask them now. So I want to get some questions from you. Because all of you ladies did this, whether you were aware of it or not. And almost every guy used a sexual compass. But to the ladies now, yeah, if you have any questions how you can utilize this for the better, please let me know. Dion, that's true. Women cannot sexually occupy. They can only sexually ping and be sticky to them and push them towards them and by being sticky, but they cannot actually occupy nor pull them. All right. I'm sure there are some questions, ladies. Please ask them. I mean, I make the effort to explain all this to you. Oh, and by the way, a lot of people want this knowledge out in the open. This knowledge, a lot of men know, but they don't want this in the open because a lot of the men who abuse this are misogynist white females. So some of them may be upset that I'm recording this live stream, but I don't care. I survived an assault in my life last week anyway, so whatever. All right. Okay. So, ladies, please use this wisely. Before you cyclically focus on a man, make sure that type of man is worth it. And if you have sexual longings, make sure your sexual expectations are proper. Also, and remember, as a woman, you have no sexual compass. So when you ping around crazy, even guys who don't match your expectation will pick it up. So women cannot filter who gets the ping. You can either ping specifically on one guy or they ping in general, but they can't ping in a selective way. Men can selectively throw a lasso, and only the women in line with what they want are affected by it. Men can do that, women cannot. Okay, Dion, as explained, how does a woman know that a man is sexually healthy to meditate upon? Okay, first thing first. Is the man a believer? Secondly, is he delivered? Apart from that, when you look at the men, do you get any healthy dominance out from him? If you get healthy dominance out of a guy, healthy dominance simply means he's not violent nor aggressive, but he's just naturally ambitious and with empathy. If a man has empathy and is naturally ambitious, that generates a natural dominance. That's the type of man you should be focused on as a woman. But too often women focus on the guys who are showing off. Because a lot of women have been brainwashed into thinking that the guy that shows off intensely is the type of man that gets things done in life. Even Disney helps women being deluded like this. So listen, a man like that is either a sociopath or he's likely a warlock that wants to exploit you. So please don't have a sexual focus on them. Never do that. Because if a lot of women, but this is not a secret I'm going to reveal you. If a lot of women sexually focus on one guy, that guy can absorb those things if he wants. He can sexually absorb all those things and become and drain the females. For example, let's take Elvis Presley for a moment. When Elvis Presley was alive, this guy used to have a lot of women screaming for him, lose their mind over him. Imagine Elvis Presley at a performance, and there are 2,000 women in the audience. Let's say you have 2,000 women having sexual focus on you. Normally, you would fall to the ground. It would go too much for you as a man. But warlocks have a way in which they can open up their energy fields through meditation, and suddenly they begin to receive all the sexual shocks from those women, and they end up draining the life source of the women. So the women that go to that Elvis Presley concert, when they leave, they're completely exhausted. Even though they haven't done anything physically exhausted, they're completely exhausted. And in this case, the warlock trained all the women there, and he has a boost of strength that he shouldn't have. It's a type of inverted black magic a lot of artists are doing. So beware of it. Okay, let me see if there are any other questions. By the way, what I just explained about inverted black magic, in which a man triggers the sexual focus of women onto him and then drains the sexual shocks for those women. Is this clear onto you? Because that's why it's important to wisely select when you want to sexually focus on a man. Okay, Feline asks, okay, let me highlight it. Had an attractive acquaintance whom I encountered who expressed interest, but I had intrusive thoughts seeming to pull me in his direction. I never responded because it didn't come from me. Was I right? Well, you were right, it didn't come from you. You're being pulled. Um, the fact that you were aware you were being pulled already shows that the sexual quality of the man was not that high. If his sexual quality was high, you wouldn't even have been able to resist him. You would just been there, and once you're there, then you can figure out, is this a smart thing or not? So once you're pulled over there, now when you see the guy, you can examine the guy once you're there. But this guy was already with you a lot, so that's why his vortex did not work that well, because you were already familiar with him. The vortex often works the best on women who don't know you yet. Mhm. Was I right to be cautious? Well, I would say you were, because I'm not sure if that guy was even a believer or not. Likely not. If he's not a believer, you should be cautious. Okay, hold on. The man had the questions. Let me go to the next question. So you recommend that safer just focus on one person to ping? Okay. As a female, you don't have this vortex nor this compass. So if you want to find a man, or then I don't know, you have to find a new guy, you have to encounter new guys. You can't specifically focus on a guy you don't know exists. You can only specifically focus on a guy you know. Let's say there are 500 men. You don't know which guy is potential. You don't know any of those 500 men. So you can't just focus on them because you don't know them. But you can focus on a guy you know, whether someone as a public figure or someone close to you, you can do that. So ping on one individual is only possible if you actually know who the individual is and the individual is close to you. To ping someone, if you're in Los Angeles and you ping someone all the way in Buenos Aires, that's not a smart thing to do because he likely won't be able to know where the pings come from anyway, so you're wasting your efforts. You can ping in general as a woman, that's fine. as long as you're willing to examine any man that approaches you. If you're willing to examine any man that approaches you, then it's fine to just ping like that. If not, okay, but anyway, you can't not ping. Now you can choose as a woman to not be focused, to not have a sexual focus for a moment. You can do that, but the sexual longing of yours is always there, and it will come up sooner or later. So it's better to ping in an area where you know there are safer men than to just be obsessed with one guy only. Okay? So let me look at the other question. So let me see over here. Okay, let me read this question. Let me up the tab to read this question very well. Diane asks, I had a man before they really get to know me. They asked me, am I gonna break their hearts? I felt some kind of way because I felt like they were accusing me. One called me poison. Well, Diane, it seems like you were dealing with warlocks who tried to violate you. Unfortunately, I think they succeeded. That's why I had a lot of issues afterwards. Tammy, semen retention simply means a lifestyle of not wasting your sexual fluids as a man. All right. Dr. Feline asked, I did with all male interactions prayerfully. Something the Lord shared with me years ago was that when He sends someone to me, I won't be able to resist him, and that I will know internally what are his thoughts. That's absolutely true. By the way, I already explained this to you. When a righteous man sexually occupies a woman, the woman can't shake it off. It's impossible. She can ask the Lord to remove it, and she has explained to God why she wants it. For example, let's say you have an Indian guy in the United States, and he sexually occupies a white female. Okay, but let's say the white female wants to have white babies with a white husband to contribute to her American heritage. She has no problem with any other type of men, but she really wants to bring, but she's a believer, wants to bring forth with her own ethnicity. In this case, the Heavenly Father, if she prays about, the Heavenly Father can just cancel the sexual occupation of that man, and or he can convert the sexual occupation into a pastoral occupation. A pastoral occupation is a sexual occupation of a less intensity that a pastor uses on his congregation. So sometimes, as a righteous man, you may sexually occupy a woman, and God will convert it into a pastoral cover, or He will shut it down altogether. He is Lord. So if a woman, Joanna asks, if a woman is being and walk in power, can any type of man still pull her in? Well, if you're a woman walking in the resurrection power, listen, you can still be catched by a lasso, but if the man is unhealthy and you walk in power, the moment you arrive near him, he's going to freak out. Let's say, Joanna, that you have this guy called David, and this David is sexually polluted, he's addicted to porn or whatever, and he longs for a woman and you kind of match what type of woman he wants. He generates a vortex, and you're around, and you end up being pulled to a direction. When you appear, you're going to notice instantly that he's the one doing it. When you approach him, he's going to be terrified. He's going to walk away because you're too much for him. So, a woman walking in power, a lot of men don't want to pull such women. But the thing is, when you throw out the vortex, you cannot filter out whether a woman is powerful or not. You can filter the vortex based on the type of woman you want visually, or uh, based on her background, but you cannot filter on whether a woman has power or not. We only female believers can have power when you walk by faith. So a woman walk by faith can be pulled by a vortex, but if the man is not on the same level, sir, or at least not a believer, he's going to get terrified. Some men are going to actually run away from you, really. Some men are going to run away from you. Just be prepared with it. Mhm. Okay. So is this clear unto you, Joanna? Is the answer clear unto you? All right. I can see the questions over here. Hold on. Someone asks, do I cover and fuel subscribers? Yes, I do. The thing is, the ones I can actually cover directly are those who often appear in the live chat or who are in the Telegram groups, all of that. Because a pastoral cover, I need to know who I put the cover upon. You get me? So I do cover my female subscribers, absolutely. So that's why from time to time I get warning shots when some of you are in danger. If some of you are in danger, I feel it in my body. Well, that's the thing about having a pastoral cover, putting a pastoral cover on a woman. You actually have to actually be the pastor now. If you feel she's in danger, you have to go out and do something about it. But hey, God designed me to be a pastor, so be it. Okay. Diane asks, I have a distinctive walk that is very seductive. It attracts attention from both sexes. However, I'm not doing it on purpose, but it attracts men that I'm not attracted to. Why? By the way, here's another thing I want to explain about sexual attraction. Sexual attraction, when it comes to women, is a social conditioning. When it comes to sexuality, it's not your female interest that matters. It's the magnetic occupation. If you walk in a seductive way, I know who taught you that. Well, people around you may just be hypersexualized, and that's why they're after you. Just uh, divert the psychic tension away from you, and you solve it like that. All right? Okay. Dr. Flynn said, I believe you do because I see the benefit I get. Many a times when I've gone through some very intense warfare, your videos minister directly to me, and the Lord says your prayer covered me. Never wait to life either. So grateful that you walk in the power. You're a gift to all of us. Okay, thank you. And remember, I'm a gift given by the Heavenly Father. So please honor the Heavenly Father by listening to my videos and live streams and do what I teach you. Thank you. All right. Anything else I need to share about the sexual vortex? No, I don't think there's anything else I need to say. Okay, there's another question here. Or it's a okay. Listen, are there any questions from you relating this topic? Because I'm about to close this down and do some telephone fellowship now. Because I want to say fellowship fellow believers. So, any questions about this? Let me know. I'll wait for 2 minutes. If after 2 minutes I get no questions, I'll close down the live stream and I'll do some telephone fellowship with some believers. Okay, James King asks, how do you know if a Jezebel is using this power to seduce you? Okay, where's the comments? Okay, let me highlight the comments. How do you know if a Jezebel, so I know if a toxic, dangerous woman is paying you? Listen, she can't hide the quality of what she is. If a woman is toxic and dangerous, when she pings you, you're going to be creeped out. You're going to feel creeped out and shocked like you're in sudden danger. You're going to feel sudden panic coming over you. You're not going to feel comfortable with that. You're going to feel like you're in danger. You feel like something's coming after you, like you're being chased around. If it's a healthy woman, you're going to feel warm and beloved. There's a difference. And if it's a Jezebel doing it, just shake it off of you. Again, move your body in a joyful way. Have a focus on other things and shake it off of you. This is what you do. Okay, someone asked another question. If I cover a child female relative from far, will it prevent predators from coming near her as effectively as I was near her? Listen, if you're close to her, it will work far better than when you're far off. And it's another question to ask yourself. Are the people around her neglectful? Look, if the people around her are neglectful, then your cover will hinder danger, but it cannot stop danger. If she's surrounded by male believers, then absolutely, if all male believers cover her, then no wrong can happen to her. So you may have to both cover her and send psych and send how to say peace around her multiple times, just to keep dangerous men away from her. That's what you may need to do. All right. Okay. Let me remove the highlighting of the comments. One moment. Okay. I don't see any other questions now. Thank you all for being here. Keep on agreeing in Christ, please. And I'll see you next live stream. God is good. Shalom.